start with you. Who are you and what in the world are you doing here?
I know, right? Well, I'm Carrika Washington, and I'm the unit director over Wayne Street, which is your neighbor,
Yes.
and Randolph Howe Elementary. And what am I doing here, man? The club is great. Like, it just started with my son being here for pre-K, and then to me waiting maybe 2 years later and started working my way up from program director to program outcome director and to a unit director, which is where I really wanted to go.
I kind of get to watch some of that progression.
Yeah, it's been cool. I've been loving it too. So
Yeah.
feeling my duties.
So how about you, Miss Robyn?
Well, I'm Robyn Peary. I'm the CEO of the club. I've been there since 2012. Started as Chief Development Officer, so I was doing all of our fundraising, grant writing, special events, raising the money. Been CEO since 2016, but I love it. This is, I had been in other nonprofit work before, and before that in academia, but when I found Boys and Girls Club, it was like I found the mission that I had been looking for all this time, that I finally felt like was meeting the needs of kids and families in a way that nothing I'd ever been a part of did. So.
It's kind of cool how we've crossed paths over the years.
Yeah, it has.
And I guess that was about the time you started. Because I guess it was 2000. You said,
I've
like
been there
CEO.
since, so 2016. So yeah,
That's about
when did you
right.
start My Town?
Probably around the same
Yeah,
time. Like
that
I think
sounds right.
that we were fairly close to the
Yeah.
same time. People ask me when, I don't have a clue. It was like this 2 years of my life, and then I don't know. Others want to start it back, but we get to do this. Like I think we learned a lot about this
Yes.
during
So
that
cool.
time and during that season.
It was awesome.
So one of the things that I really want our church to know is what's the need. When we were sharing a message about vision, and especially God-given vision, because there's all kinds of vision, but especially like a God-given vision, the Lord usually that vision has something to do with helping with a need. Like He goes, all right, now I want you to do this and be a part of helping with that need. So what is the need that Boys and Girls Club meets? And it may be multiple.
Yeah.
I feel like it is. I don't want to speak for you, but what is the need or are the needs that Boys and Girls Club meets?
You want to go first? Or you want me to?
You can.
You're so cordial. So nice.
I mean, if I had to boil it down, I would say that the club closes the gap for kids, whatever that gap is. It's a lot of different things because our kids are struggling with a lot of different issues and
Right.
challenges, and it varies. But for some of our young people, they may not have a stable home life at home, and the club is that safe space for them. Maybe,
It's
unfortunately,
stability.
sometimes the
Yeah.
only safe space.
They know they're going to see those same faces.
Exactly.
Like every day.
I mean, we've
Yeah.
had a lot of kids that have bounced around from home to home, been in the foster care system, in and out, and the club has been the only constant in their
Yeah.
lives through that period. But we have a lot of other families that have a more stable home life, but maybe the club is, the parents work nights, and so it's a safe place for their kids to go after school so they can have that peace of mind and know that their kids are taken care of,
Right.
or it's someone to help them with their homework, to be that advocate at schools if they are working and can't go to parent-teacher night, or they're a single parent and they're not able to do those things.
Yeah.
And for some of our kids, it's basic needs. It's sometimes helping them get food if they
Right.
don't have food in their household, or housing if we learn that they've been evicted, or, it's a lot of different things. It's emotional health and well-being. But all of it is really just focused on standing in the gap for kids, whatever they're not getting at school or at home, and we're trying to
So
make that
as you're
need.
saying it, I'm thinking, for example, with housing, then you must have partnerships with the other organizations in the community.
Absolutely, yeah. We obviously we're a strong partner with Columbia Housing. We're here in the
Sure.
Housing Authority area. Columbia Housing owns the building that we're in at Wayne Street, so they're a strong partner. But we make referrals to Family Center. We work with Center of Hope. We work with all of our nonprofit friends around the
Sure.
community too, to try to get our families the resources they need.
Yeah, which once again is one of the things I love about Columbia.
Me too.
But I'm guessing
Me too.
that most of the Boys and Girls Clubs throughout the nation have to have some kind of relationship like that.
Oh
But
yeah.
I would think that we think for sure that there's something special about Columbia in this. And I know y'all aren't just Columbia.
No. Yeah.
You're all the
We're
way down
not.
at Pulaski now?
We are all the way in Pulaski.
We are.
Yeah. So it's Murray County.
Murray County and Giles County. So
And
we
Giles
officially
County.
changed our name to Boys and Girls Clubs of South Central Tennessee in
noticed that.
2020.
Made it really hard for my email. I was like, what email do I send this to?
But even in Murray County, a lot of people still don't know that we serve the entire county. So we're
Right.
not just Columbia. We serve Spring Hill. We've got 4 sites in Spring Hill. We serve Mount Pleasant. We're even in Cullioca, Hampshire, Santa Fe.
Yes.
So all of Murray County, and then we took over
So
operations of the.
we have a lot of unit schools. I say a lot. We have a handful of unit schools.
Well,
in Murray
actually, we
County,
have
I mean.
3 of the 7 in the whole state of Tennessee, right here
Is
in
that
Murray
right?
County. Yeah.
That's good information.
I hope that's still true. I heard it a couple years ago,
Yeah,
but
no,
as
that's
far as
good
I know,
information.
it's true a couple years ago.
I think with you all, you do remote with those then, right?
We're there in the school. Yeah.
You're actually, yeah, like
Yep.
you have a Boys and Girls Club group that meets in
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah, we have
'Cause I know there's Hampshire, Cullioca, Santa Fe.
Yep, we
And
have
it is Santa
11.
Fe. I just want to clarify real quick.
Yep, I grew up close to Santa Fe. It is definitely Santa Fe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have 11 school-based sites. So we serve every school in the district either by busing them to a Wayne Street or a teen center,
Right.
or being in the school itself. And 2016 is when we went into schools to
Yeah.
to grow because there were
Remember when
so
all
many
happened?
kids
And
that
it just,
needed
you know,
us.
the club
and-
just exploded.
It exploded,
During
and that's
that
when I
time.
came on when
Yeah,
it
that's when we
exploded
hired
Right.
in
Carrika.
2016.
Well, even the kids center, because at the time it was like just the teen center, whatever the kids center started, right? Weren't they all in one center at one point?
Yes, so we started in 1999 in the downtown facility right
Right.
across from the library. So at that time, that was kindergarten all the way through 12th grade.
Yeah.
In 2013 is when we opened Wayne Street.
And it blew up. Like, I mean, it just.
Yeah, we
was
split off
full.
age groups and sent kindergarten through 5th grade there, but we had a wait list there too in no time.
Right.
I mean, we could serve like 300 kids between the two, but there's 12,000 in the
Right.
local school district. So 2016 is when we went into schools
Then
to
you're
try
like,
to
all
reach more
right,
of
so
those
let's
kids.
just do a little bit more.
Yes.
I haven't done enough yet, so let's just do a little bit more.
There's just
Yep.
so many families that.
There's so much need.
Yeah, there
and
is.
which comes back to the whole purpose of the mission. So do y'all have like a mission statement?
Absolutely.
Because
Do
our
not ask
CEO
me. Do not ask me.
Of course I
And I'm like,
do.
Kirsten learning, and I'm like, don't ask me.
We're going to learn it right now. So
It's to enable all young people, especially those who need us the most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens.
I always say loving
so
citizens.
good. So good.
But that's what we do. Like, I think that's like, I really believe in the mission. And when we get ready to do things with our kids, like, it follows what our mission stands
Sure.
for. We try to teach them life skills where there's financial literacy, where it's smart girls and how to, you know, love on yourself more, whether that's passport to manhood and how to be a great citizen in our community. I mean, we're just, like, the mission stands for everything that we're doing right now in this day and age.
Yeah. Which is needed.
Yes.
And, you know, I keep using the word need, but that's really what this is about is, you know, there are so many, like you said, there are so many gaps that have to be filled.
Unfortunately, yes.
And I love, like, how you can have multiple organizations that can help fill those gaps, but it seems like Boys and Girls Club is one of those that fills multiple gaps.
We try, certainly.
Yeah, because you have
Yeah.
some that, like, it's their niche, their calling is to do food or to do, but even the family center in our community, they don't just do food.
No, they do
food,
a lot.
They do housing,
Yeah.
they
They
do
do a lot.
clothing, they
Classes,
classes,
budgeting, all
they
sorts
they
of
teach
things.
budget finance. Like, there's a lot of stuff because I've been blessed to come and teach classes there too.
Awesome.
So
That's
they
awesome.
just have, yeah. There's a lot of need, and it takes a lot of people
Takes a lot of.
to help fit.
And unfortunately, that
those
need has
needs.
only grown with COVID.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very unequal impact. It tended to impact the people that were already struggling the most in our community. So, you know, we saw that in so many ways with our families and kids, but particularly when kids were doing remote learning or getting quarantined and the back and forth, and we figured out that 80% of our families are essential workers
Wow.
that are employed, and you know they can't stay home from work
The remote
for
thing
that.
isn't going to work for them.
And a lot of them are hourly workers that didn't have any pay time off, so you don't work, you
So
lose
80%
pay.
of your families, those workers were essential.
Considered essential workers, like under
Wow.
the stay-at-home order. So,
That's a substantial amount. Yeah.
I mean, it's almost all of our members. So,
And when you're already struggling, and when you're already trying to make ends meet,
Yeah.
and then you have to work, and then your kids are at home, what do you do?
Boys and
And
Girls
then y'all were
Club.
kind of putting it down. I mean, y'all were putting a tailspin on what you could
It
and
was
couldn't do
crazy.
at first.
It was crazy.
It was.
I feel like y'all kind of gotten into your groove now, but early on it was like, what do we do?
What do we do? But we definitely had a strategic plan, and we got together and we worked as a team. Even with the 80%, we were able to still open for remote learning for those families, and opening up at 7:30, partnering with Murray County Public Schools to do breakfast and lunch and afternoon snack for those kids, and they were there all day. So we were able to help those families in need that still need to go to work. And even with kids going out with COVID, we just made sure that we were wearing masks, or we were very cleaning and sanitizing and wiping down everything. But we definitely were blessed not to be able to close
Right.
during that time, but one time. And that's been it the entire time. And I'm so blessed to say that. Like, we were
Praise the
able
Lord
to
for
stay
that.
open and
Yeah.
still serve our kids every day.
I
That's
really
good.
have to give huge props to Carrika. When schools closed in March of 2020, we were only closed for 2 weeks. By April 6th, we were open, even during the stay-at-home order, for an emergency site at Baker, first for just the children of healthcare workers. So Murray Regional approached us, and they were really concerned about their workers not having anywhere for
Right.
their kids to go. And then that quickly turned into a statewide partnership with the Tennessee Department of Human Services to provide free childcare to all essential workers. And so that we did that all the way through August of 2021. But basically, one of our clubs, Wayne Street, was open 12 hours a day for 17 months.
That's awesome.
It was crazy, yeah. Freaking needs a vacation. So
The warrior, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it was good though.
challenging,
But those kids made it. They got good grades, and they're still pushing forward. And I know that those families are just grateful.
Yeah.
We hear it all the time. And so when the club is closed, they're like, "Why? Like, why are y'all closed? Like, I really need you guys
Yeah.
open."
Because it's the weekend. Now give us a break.
And then it was great to hear, even at Christmas time, we closed at the end. I had families that were like, "You guys need it. You guys deserve it. Your staff have worked
Aw,
hard."
was
So
sweet, yeah.
that just made us feel good
That's
to know that they
awesome.
really wanted us to relax and be at home. So I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. Because there's some parent that was like, "No, y'all need to be open today."
Well, yeah, there's always the one.
It's always
You're not
one.
going to please them all, that's for sure.
Yep.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about Vacation Bible School.
Okay,
Because
that
we
was
had
fun.
so much fun
We did.
with VBS.
We did. The kids didn't know what to expect. Our staff did. And then I had new staff
Yeah.
that wasn't ready. Rosetta was our staff that knew what to expect. I knew what to expect.
Right.
So nobody did. And it was so much fun. Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I loved seeing all the pictures. Like,
We
y'all had a
had good,
blast.
hey, listen, we had a cannon.
Yes,
you did have
you
a
had a
confetti
cannon.
cannon.
Still picking up pieces of glitter out of the parking lot.
We
That's all
had to actually, we had to actually patch our ceiling when that was over with.
Yes.
But we had fun with it.
That
Yeah.
we had so much fun, and you guys were getting ready to do your own vacation Bible school, that we had kids begging their parents, "Mom, Dad, they're going to have
Yes.
another vacation Bible school, and it's a carnival theme." And I remember those two kids specifically, they were like, "We're going." And the grandfather was like, "Okay." And he's like, "That's another way." And he dropped them off, and they stayed and came, and they loved it. So I was happy about
We
that.
love that partnership. I think
Yes.
it's neat. First of all, the location is a godsend. Like we're right here close
Yes.
to each other. But I love how all the relationships that have been built in the past are now kind of culminating into this season of helping one
I
another.
love it.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Everybody walking up the street with their tags, and the
Yeah.
kids knowing if they're going to blue or yellow or orange group, and they had a good time. And then making the snacks in the kitchen area, and making their projects. So I totally enjoyed it. And then you had Miss Shaka bring her flags that one day, and the kids
Yeah.
were in the aisles doing the flags. So it was really cool. It was cool.
Well, we love doing things like that. And hopefully it kind of brings me to that question of, like, what are some things that people can do to help you day to day on a regular basis? Because we are going to take up an offering. We're super excited about that. Now,
Awesome.
it probably
Thank
won't
you,
show up on
guys.
this
Thank
video,
you.
but what we're looking at is taking up, here, my goal is to take up $30,000. And
Wow.
then split it 3 ways and have $5,000 for every. But I mean,
That's awesome.
Maybe it'll be
That's
more,
awesome.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We'll just pray that it's more.
That
But I
it's
think
more.
getting
Amazing.
like these conversations in front of our people will help them to know
It's really important.
the relationships that we have, the need that is there. But one of the big things that I like to ask is other than finance, what are some of the needs that people can help kind of plug into on a day-to-day?
Yeah, I'll let Carrika take that one.
I would say it was like volunteers.
Uh-huh.
We desperately need them with COVID coming in. We kind of lost a lot of our volunteers, the nervousness of catching COVID and what does this seem like. And
Right.
so it would be great if we had volunteers to come back and maybe read books with our kindergarten kids or even our first and second, maybe helping them do time reading with their homework or helping with the small math facts that they have,
Right.
and just building relationships with our kids. I know that some of your members really built relationships with some of our kids doing Vacation Bible School, so they would love to see them come and visit and just to say hi or check things out. Sometimes I would say supplies. We can always use art supplies for our kids.
Okay.
Old magazines and newspapers so we can do collages and do vision boards. I love to do that with our kids. They need to see what their vision is and not just think about it. Have it out. They can post it in their room or have it at the club so when they come in they get to see their vision. So for me, that's the need. Having someone actually come in, know that their community still cares and see the
Right.
people that they've built relationships with and helping with homework.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have like sometimes special projects for, painting a room or things like that some of our people who may be retired and they have those expertise that they could do as well?
Man, I
So
would
many
love
projects.
so many projects. But I mean, one of my biggest things that I really want to do, I really want to paint our hallways. They just need a new, fresh coat of paint.
You don't like the purple?
No.
She hates it.
And that yellow green.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
coming in, and then I really want to do photos of our kids. I really feel like it's their clubhouse.
Yeah.
So I would love to get pictures taken of our kids so we can actually hang them on the wall and change them out. As the kids grow up out of the club, we can still change out and have new faces on the wall. So that's really one of my visions for Wayne Street for sure. And then our gym. Our gym needs like all kind of love.
It needs some
Paint,
love.
patching, drywall.
Maybe the balls.
like,
So if somebody can come and get all of the balls out of
you'd
the
have to
ceiling.
get scaffolding or something, yeah. But I mean, that kind of maintenance stuff. Obviously, we're a small staff and a
Right.
small budget. We don't have an in-house
Yeah.
maintenance
You're like,
person or
$2
anything. So it's
for
like,
a ball or something to get
to
let's
the-
just spend a few dollars on a ball.
so that kind of stuff is always a challenge.
Yeah.
Parts of Wayne Street haven't been painted since it was opened in 2013. So paint's a need. Our floors. Kids are just.
Yes.
It's hard on stuff with 150 kids
Our
in a building,
floors.
so that kind of maintenance stuff is always helpful.
Yep.
A lot of little feet running around.
A lot of little feet,
hands
a lot
on
of
the
hands
walls.
touching the walls.
You just see them now. Especially when they're getting ready to paint and they're running down the hall and they're trying to touch the wall. You're like, don't touch the wall. You got paint on your hands.
You mean like this?
Yep.
Like,
And
that's
they do
what
exactly like that. They just walk right across.
It's like don't say it because when you do,
Yep.
they're
They're
going
going
to
to
do
do
it.
it.
Yep.
It's a thing. It's a
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Well, that gives us a lot of good ideas. I think it'd be exciting to help with the floors for one, but
That would be awesome.
the gym.
Yes.
I mean, obviously there's some things that could be done in the gym and stuff too. I'd love to see our people, mobilized to spend time, build relationships.
Be great.
Yeah, I think that's the key to all of this. You use the word vision. Do you use that a lot when you're like working with the kids and stuff?
I do. It's big for me because I really want them to think about their future.
Okay.
Not just day to day, but think about where you're wanting to go. What path are you wanting to move in? And I do this really with my smart girls, and I do it with my Passport to Manhood boys. And I really talk about, where do you want to go? Like, what do you want to do? Let's start thinking about that. What about your grades? Like, where do you want your grades to be? If you have a C, let's set a goal to try to get a B on your next progress report. And how do we get there? Robyn, our whole organization is big on goals.
Right.
We are
Most CEOs
goal.
are big on
We are goal oriented, and so
We certainly are.
it's helping me build that, so I can also teach it down. So when you're teaching me, I get to trickle it down, not only to my staff, but also to the kids about setting goals and how do we get there,
Right.
creating those smart goals for them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too. That's awesome. So we're just finishing up this series on vision. And one of the key things with vision that we find is like when you have vision, it gives you a yes and a no.
Yep.
So like if I know what my God-given vision is or whatever the direction, and I have this inside of me, it's burning to go in that direction, then when somebody else comes up and says, hey, I want you to do whatever, you can look at them and say, well, I appreciate that you want to do that. Why don't you do that? But I'm going this way.
Yeah.
Because that's what vision does. It gives you that direction. It gives you boundaries.
I will tell you, they love it. Think about when you talk about kindergartners. Tiara is really good. Something we talked about goals, and she asked me. I was like, so their goal would be learning how to tie their shoes.
Yeah.
She did 5 sentences last week, which was amazing for them.
Right.
And so setting just little goals for them to establish, and then once they establish it and complete it, we just keep growing on it.
Yeah.
And that helps them, so they love it. Oh, they love it. So.
Yeah.
We have something at Boys and Girls Clubs, like it's part of our formula for impact, but like everything we do is kind of grounded in research and best practices on youth development. And so all of our programs are centered around the 5 key elements of positive youth development, from
Right.
research of many years. But that makes me think of one of those, which is opportunities and expectations. So in all of our programs, we want to give our kids opportunities that they wouldn't maybe have outside of the club.
Right.
But with that comes high expectations. So we're also
Sure.
going to hold them to a high standard
Yeah.
and push them to achieve things they didn't think they could do. So
Yeah, raise the bar.
opportunities and expectations always have to go hand in
Hand in
hand.
hand.
That's good.
Yep.
But then you also don't want to raise the bar so high that they get frustrated because they can
Yeah.
never reach the goal.
They have to
So
have
there's always
those
that.
little successes and then build on it.
Right, which is why that's such a fabulous plan. I'm tying my shoe. Now I know the different senses. I know that, yeah, that's
I can
powerful.
count on my hands. We have a little boy. He does not like the number 4. We have no idea. He skips he can do all the numbers but 4. And over the past month, we can finally get him to say 4, but he says it with a laugh. Like, so we have beat that goal, but he does not like the number 4, and he says that, and he'll kind of trickle off and laugh, and I'm like, but we got it, and then he'll yell 5, 6, 7.
He's so excited to move on.
He is so excited, but I don't know what it is about number 4, but we tried to make it fun for him. So if it's something that is tragic or a reason why he doesn't like the number 4, we try to make it more exciting with Skittles or something that he loves, trucks and cars. And so, but his goal was if we can just get him to say 4, like we are doing something real big. And he says it and he laughs and he just goes on, like, don't
Now
ask
when I
him
say the
nothing.
number 4, I'm gonna laugh.
Carrika's being modest, though. That young man has some challenges, and when he started with us, he was completely nonverbal. Like,
Wow.
didn't speak at
Nonverbal.
all. He just started speaking in November,
November.
and his mom
says
told
a
us
lot.
that she really thinks that the
It's
club.
not that he talks.
Now he talks a lot.
He talks. Like, so let's
Like,
not go
if I
on.
pick him up off the bus, he's like, why are you here? And he's not looking for me. He's looking for Miss Linda up front.
He's very big into routines. Like,
Sure.
Same routine. He has
but-
to have snack. He has a routine to where he gets off the bus. It depends on who's picking him up. He's like, "What are you here for?" And then you have to race him to the door. So you have to jump over this little stump, and then you race him in the door. Then he takes his backpack. He puts his coat and backpack up, and then he comes and he says, "Treat." Like he's ready to have his treat. And so
Yeah.
Miss Linda spoils him. He has his treat. He sits down, and then he's like, "What are we doing now? Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing?"
As long as I gotta
night
make
and
it
day
through
difference,
this.
yeah.
Yep.
And,
And then I can
that's
do
why
this.
Mr. Rogers was fabulous.
Right.
The shoes,
Yep.
cardigan, sweater, fabulous. Yes.
Yep.
It's that routine. There's
Yeah.
something to it. So
His mom told us that she thought the club was a big part of him starting to speak. And
Yeah.
obviously he's getting assistance at school too, but we serve quite a few kids with special needs and in one aspect or another, about 20% of our membership. And
right.
our staff do a great job of just meeting kids where they are. And
Well, that's
finding a way to
super
modify programs for
impressive
them.
That you're doing that at the same time as you're now to like a 1-in-20 ratio for assisting
Yeah,
kids. You know, it's like that's why we need volunteers for the Boys and Girls Club.
absolutely.
Most
If all-
definitely.
If all
We
20
need
kids,
volunteers for the Boys and Girls Club.
If
if
they
all
had-
20 kids have their hand up during homework time and you've got 45
What are you
minutes
doing?
to make it around to 20 kids and
Yeah.
each one has a math problem, it's not going to happen.
And some of them, let's face it, some of them don't need help with math. They just need somebody to talk to for a second.
That too.
Yes,
Yeah,
that too.
absolutely.
They really do.
And so you guys be like, all right, I'm moving on to, but
I think for me it's
they need
big
interaction.
with that. They really just need somebody to talk to. So as a director, I try to go into all of my classrooms. I try to tell all my staff, y'all know I cannot sit in one spot, not when kids are here. I have to move around. Parents are hard to catch me because I am active with the kids. I go in classrooms and I talk to them, ask them how their day was. They're like, Miss Carrika, I don't like the snack. Okay, we'll go throw it away. And they want to tell me about their day-to-day life. And I'm like, what about the homework? But let me tell you what happened at school today.
Yes.
So-and-so did this. And I'm like, okay, but, we are creating that safe place environment for them to be able to have those conversations, to be able to tell you about their weekend when they're supposed to be doing homework. They try to get out of it at all costs.
Right.
All costs.
Well,
That's where that
kid.
relationship magic
I was that
happens.
kid.
I was that child. Like, I was that child.
I was that kid.
Real quick, and we can wrap it up, but real quick, I wanted to ask, like, what do the partnerships, for example, with a church, what does that mean, and what would that mean?
For me, it means that you guys still care. You want to be active in your community and you want to volunteer and you want to give back. I work really hard to try to build those relationships so you guys can see what the club does. Everybody doesn't know what Boys and Girls Club of South Central Tennessee does, and we do great things with our kids. We have a great staff, and so partnering with you guys means that you guys just want to be involved and come in and see what our kids are doing every day. And when they see you out in the community, they're like, hey, Mr. Eric, or, whoever else that,
I actually am officially Pastor Eric to a ton of them. I mean, really.
Yes, you are.
It's a huge blessing because, the pastor thing, sometimes that's not something
Yeah.
people want to say or whatever, but going into schools or going to the Boys and Girls Club,
They're
it's a
gonna know your
sweet thing
face.
to hear Pastor Eric.
How does that make you
Awesome.
feel, though? It's like,
It
It
makes
feels-
it worth the trip. That's for
It-
sure.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but it's definitely it's a special place in your heart. Like you go, all right, there's a connection here.
Yes.
First of all, they even remember who you are.
Oh, they remember you
They
after
remember
one
you.
visit.
But that's
One
a big
visit.
deal.
Yeah.
and please don't tell me you're going to do something because they expect you to do
Yes,
it
absolutely.
every single time. But
Gotta be
just,
careful what you promise.
just those partnerships. And then once somebody sees that you are volunteered and you have your experience, then they're going to want to dive in and get that same experience or even a different experience. And so it's just about building those relationships with us and being able to come in and see what we do every day, and not just at Wayne Street, at our teen center, at our
Right.
school-based sites. They all function different, but we're all one unit together. And so I think for me, partnerships just means that you still care.
Yeah. Same for me. This is my hometown. But I moved away for a while. Lived in Chicago. I've worked for other nonprofits, and it's just a joy to be here in this community. And we've talked about like what a unique community Columbia and
Sure.
Murray County are. It's just such a giving place, and I'm just grateful every day that
It is.
I get to do this work here because there are so many people with big hearts that want to support our kids. And when I think about the club, to me, fundamentally, supporting the club shows that you care about all kids, not just your own
Yeah.
or what's going on in your child's school or in your particular neighborhood. Like, yes, all of that is important, but as a Boys and Girls Club, we're serving kids all over this community.
Sure.
And when people support that, we're all better for it.